Bob and Brad, the two most famous physical therapists on the internet.
Hi there, folks. I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical therapist.
Together we are the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
In our opinion, of course, Bob.
Today we're going to show you how to choose the right massage gun to reduce pain, improve healing, and recovery.
There's a number to pick from.
Oh my God, it's growing every day, Brad.
But it's really not that hard. We'll tell you the basics of what you want to look for your needs.
Yeah, and you can decide what's important to you.
Right.
We'll go over the characteristics you should look for.
Right.
But, we have found massage guns to be highly helpful in treating like muscle soreness, knots, tightness, strain. They're also good for tendonitis.
Sure.
Our muscle healing and recovery. So
right.
Let's get started, Brad.
Okay.
So, keep these features in mind when you're looking at the models. The first one is power. So I consider there's three aspects to the power.
Okay.
One is the travel. You want to show what that travel is, Brad?
So the travel or the amplitude, depending on who you're talking to, is it goes back and forth this way so that you can go in, and that's what gets that power Bob's talking about into the muscle and gets that energy to loosen up the muscle.
So it's the depth of percussions is what it is. And if it doesn't travel at all, it just be vibrating.
Right. And they make them that way.
Yeah, they do make them that way. That's how they used to be.
Right.
And they aren't very effective.
Now, this one has less travel or less amplitude than this one, but
it's the smaller one.
Right, and we'll talk about stall force because that's another thing you'll see when their specs are on them.
So let's go into speed, Brad. So a lot of them have 2 to 5 speeds. Some people prefer a gentle, low speed.
Right.
And others like things to be hammered. So they, you're going to have to decide if that's important to you. That if you're a larger person and you really want to get into the muscle, you should try to have more amplitude and more speed.
Right. Well, the same gun the amplitude won't change, but the speed will. And you'll know because you just go on that sore area, that knot, and just play with it. These all have 5 different.
Well, I think
speeds.
A lot of them you can compare. They'll tell what the amplitude is on a lot of them, and a lot of them will tell.
Oh yeah, when you're looking at them, right?
Yeah, and it'll tell the speed too. It'll beats per minute. I don't know what it is.
The frequency.
Frequency, yeah.
Yeah, and I think they usually give it in millimeters, the amplitude of the travel.
Right. Mm-hmm. So the final thing for power is the stall force, and that's the amount of force applied to the motor to make it actually stall out. So
now these little guns, you think, oh, they're little,
right?
But boy, they really have their travel's a little less than the bigger one, but boy, they really have a good stall force. So I can try and stall this one. I'll push on it, and it's really.
Don't burn the motor off.
Yeah, I know. It's really got a great stall force.
I have to admit that one is just surprising.
Right, exactly.
We'll talk about this too, but we're going to talk about design. And this one fits right in your palm, so you can really get pressure on an area.
Right. And they're easier to hold on to. They're lighter than the bigger one. The bigger one's going to have more power, more travel, so you'll get deeper. But if you're a smaller person, you actually don't want to have this, if you don't have a lot of muscle mass, or if you're an older person, I don't know if you want to.
No, I prefer to use this one.
Oh, of course.
No, but I do because the muscles I have sore are my calf muscles,
sure,
my quads, bigger muscles that I really want to get into.
Right.
So
now at home I have both of these.
Sure.
And I use them about 50-50. It all depends. Like on my shoulder, I'll usually use this one if I'm getting up around on the end.
Sure, a little bit smaller.
On the tendon because I don't need it. So.
All right, well, let's go to the next thing, Brad. For many of us, of course, it's very important what the price is.
Sure.
And I want you to be warned, though, that increased price doesn't mean increased quality.
Right.
I mean, I've seen some that are fairly good price, but they're good quality, and I've seen the opposite, unfortunately, too. So, in fact, originally when these came out, they were $600 a unit, and Brad and I actually, didn't want to show it to anybody. I mean, we refused to review them.
Well, they're
too expensive.
Well, they're very expensive, and our you know, that's just a lot of money too.
Yeah, that's just a lot of money.
Right,
So
but now with, you know, they're so popular,
they've
they
come
make
down.
them, yeah, manufacturing has changed and mass production and whatnot.
So I would, you know, you take into consideration price, but don't think you're getting quality just because you're paying more. And also look for a coupon or sale. They have them often, you know, especially on Amazon.
Yep.
So certainly look for that. Number 3, reliability and warranty. So like all these have a 1-year warranty on them. And as far as reliability, this is where I think you try to pick companies that have a good reputation.
Sure.
You know,
and you can look at the reviews and
look at the reviews. Sometimes those are, I don't know how they do it, but sometimes I think they manipulate it somehow.
I know you'll see good ones and there'll be, it's just
Right.
whatever.
But generally you can tell, you know, if a company's been around a while and tends to have good products and tends to stand behind their products, you'll know it.
You know, do I want to mention this shape of
Sure.
gun? Because you see we got these, and this does have a reciprocating.
And we're going to go into the design. So
Design.
that,
Oh,
why
okay.
don't you mention that right now, Brad?
Okay.
We're going to talk about design.
Yeah, so originally, you know, we started, you know, these guns came out, I believe, before these. I guess I'm
Right.
not 100% sure, but
Pretty sure.
these don't have the travel, so they're not going to get in as deep. They're cheaper though, less
Yeah.
cost. But
Aren't
the
these
nice,
like 30s quite often with a coupon?
I think so, yeah. In the 30s, the big advantage that this design has is that you can reach like behind your back a little easier. You have that length there
Even
that you
like
don't
your
have.
hamstring, Brad, you know,
Sure.
if you try to, you know, use a gun, it's a little more difficult. Or
Yep. And, you know, it can work out good on there. You can just put some weight on there and work it this way. But typically we say if you're a smaller person, don't have a lot of muscle mass, or you're
Right.
an older person, these are great because that's what you need. You don't want to have something so aggressive you're not happy with it because it's painful.
Right. So it's a good benefit for someone, like you said, maybe a senior citizen,
Right.
A little on the elderly side. So, which reminds me, Brad, you never put on your neck, do you?
Yeah,
This really pounds
don't
away
massage your neck, especially, you know,
along the joints there.
really upper traps, and you're going to stop
That's
when you get,
fine.
because when you start percussing on those vertebrae on your neck, you can be painful.
It
And
doesn't
you don't
feel good.
No, it's no good.
So that was design. Portability is another thing. That's where this one kind of shines, Brad, doesn't it? I mean, you can put this in your pocket. And a lot of them come with cases, which is good because we're going to talk about this. They have different attachments.
Right.
And most of them have like 3 to 5 attachments. Pretty standard. I would say I liked the round one for doing the cross fiber.
Yep,
There it
right,
goes.
right here it is.
And I like the pointed one for sometimes knots.
That's getting in pretty deep. You're
Yeah,
not going to
that's-
use that, and none of these are going to use over a bone. But the
That
air
one's
one,
good.
you can use the air cushion one over a bone, and it's not going to hurt.
Right.
I mean, you're not going to massage your bone on purpose, but it still can be nice when you want to get close to it.
Yeah.
And
And in
then-
fact, on top of the kneecap, I like to get into the bone a little bit.
Sure, yeah, you had
So-
that one experience. There's always this, we call it the field goal one. That one you probably won't use so much.
Right. It could go on each side of the spine if you
Yeah.
have somebody doing it for you.
Yeah, I know. I've heard, you know, I've tried it, and I've heard people comment that, oh, use over Achilles tendon because it does cross over, and that can work. But again, if you're hitting your ankle bones with it, it's going to hurt, and you don't want to do that. So use that one with thought.
All right, so we're going to talk about battery life too. Most of them are like 2 to 3 hours. Some, I'm going to warn you, they actually turn off after 10 minutes. You can restart it then.
Right.
But they are trying to prevent the, I suppose, motor from overheating, Brad? I don't know. You're the...
Well, I haven't talked to the
Mechanical guy.
engineer, but I mean, I think they just, you know, have a timer on there, but you know, they can control the current.
I
you
think
know,
they
if have an
also want to
overcurrent
make sure
control.
that you're not over massaging your muscles, that you're getting them too sore. But especially at a big gun like this,
Sure.
where you could really pound it for a long time.
Sure, and then actually bruise yourself.
Right,
possibly.
right, exactly. So, and the final thing, Brad, is sound. And you may think that's not a big deal, but we originally, when we were going to look at one of these, and they were going to send us one, I looked at the reviews, and people were just complaining about the
Too
sound of
noisy.
it. Oh, they said it's like a chainsaw going off. And You know, seriously though, if you're going to use it on a day-to-day basis and you're trying to relax and get muscle recovery, you don't want to have a gun that's going to sound really loud.
This one is the loudest. It's the biggest, and you know.
Well, they are going to be adjusting that, Brad.
Sure.
The sound is not going to be as much as that it is right now. So you can look into reviews for that.
Yeah.
People are going to pick it up if that's an issue. So
Well, I don't even think this one's that loud, and that's supposedly this going to get quieter. But
right.
Yeah, this has got a metal head, which is unique to the other ones, and
yeah,
which is actually at first I thought, what's the difference? But it actually it does feel like it's getting.
It seems like
deeper.
it penetrates to me deeper, and
Yeah.
I know you can also heat it up and cool it down, but I don't know where that would come in handy. Maybe, I mean, if you heat it up, it would almost burn you, wouldn't it?
Well, you can use a torch, Bob.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, I could see putting it in the freezer and coming out cold, but it's going to.
Why do you want cold though? You don't want cold when you're massaging.
I don't know, Bob. They sure look nice.
I thought you had all the answers, but I do like that's the head I use when I use this one.
Right.
So. All right. Anything else you want to say, Brad, about choosing the right massage gun?
Well, Bob, no, I don't think so. I think we did cover most everything. They're all rechargeable. You just plug them in and they'll charge up.
I imagine it would be hard to find one that they're usually a lithium-ion battery, right?
Yeah.
And I know Bob and Brad ones have they talked about a Tesla battery. I don't know what that.
Oh, using the same material that's in a Tesla battery.
Yeah.
Here it tells you the lights. 4 lights means it's fully charged. 3 lights, 3/4 charge, and so on and so forth.
Some of them too, by the way, you got to hold the button for like 3 to 5 seconds before it starts.
Yeah, this one, if you just push it, it won't start. And think, oh, what's going on?
But yeah,
if
right.
you hold it, there it goes. And then to go upwards into the faster speeds is not.
All right, Brad.
Very good.
Take care.